April the 11th, 2014. Guys, we're looking at LASCO C3 images. Here we have a sun diving comet, and I had a question about this, and I want to point something out. Watch it dive into the sun at the very bottom. Then we had a small flare that followed it out. Now, the question was, could that have been what caused the large flare today? And again, I think they're two separate events. Again, let's watch it come in. I'll show it to you. These are extremely wide. LASCO C2 Red, which we're going to look at, has a very narrow view compared to this. Also, at 11:42, you see this burst. It was in one frame. And I saw it on LASCO C2 at a different date a couple days ago. I'll show you that. But it reminds me of this. Look at the dates as we're going into Linear's debris trail. And that right there, that cluster, is an impact point. If you go back over to the left in 2012, the last time we went through the debris trail, see how light the lines were, how thin the debris was. But so far, the AMS, you saw that 817 fireball reports so far this year, not meteorites, fireball reports. That square is unlike any other debris chart from any other comet you've ever seen or meteor storm. But Linear is breaking up. If you remember, we had images 6 years ago, and it was a glowing comet. Now, if you look at the images that are on SETI, you can barely see it. As a matter of fact, on the gray HMI, some people think they've erased it out, but it hasn't. It has completely stopped gathering any light. And if you look at the SETI stars blue from stereo A, on the camera, it appears to be just above Saturn, if you look at that, guys. But it's very dim, because it's disintegrating, and that's what they said it would do. Again, there's another burst, different date. This is also the same satellite, different camera, focused much closer to the sun. You'll see that, guys. But what we're looking at is back from the 7th up until the current times. We'll go over this. That's what we watched. There's that elongated flare. Here's one of the missing image. Now, what I did was go to the high-def downloads to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. They had one of the 300 images. You saw that at 312, but not the one that we were watching that has been removed. Now, what we saw when we saw that flare burst, we saw the 6.6 in Nicaragua. Now, you see the red dot, guys? That is a 3.2 in Salton City, California. It's directly on the San Andreas Fault. And I'll pull it up somewhat. And another quake just north of that has been right on that red fault. Nothing strong. There's one in Colorado. Not sure if the Colorado one, what that is. I'm not sure if they're fracking there or not. But look at this, guys. They're not showing 2035 on this list. And nothing is over beta gamma. See that? But on the flare probability chart, they have it listed as a 70% chance of C30 of M and X flare 5. And that's the entire probability of all the sunspots. So now they're paying attention to it. Now you notice we've come out of the plasma density that we're there on the 11th. But notice we're still in a very high solar wind speed. It's over 600 kilometers, guys. Normally you'll see it 350, 400 right in there. So you should have very good auroras tonight. That also means we're not quite out of the pressure zone. Now, if you remember when we tracked in the quake before last, that was the 8.3, I think, that they changed this chart. This is the current chart, but they came back and sped it up. This is showing the pressure starting to rise at midnight GMT, and you can look at this there. That's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 4 hours because of daylight savings time. Now, think down in Jamaica, you're the same as Central Time. That would be 7 p.m., but it's not going to peak until 20 hours later. You see that? That's 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. So that's what we're looking at. But if you remember again, after about a day, they updated this on the CME arrival time. And it's not that strong because it was a side blast. It was impressive, but it's enough because our plates are weak. And so pay attention. And again, I think that the pressure's moving from Chile, although they're having aftershocks. It's moving up the East Coast on the Ring of Fire. So let's pay attention, guys. Heads up, be safe.